All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and honestly terrifying stories ever written, George Orwell's 1984. We're going to walk through this incredible book, its world, its characters, and the ideas that make it so hard to forget. Big Brother is watching you. Just imagine seeing that phrase everywhere, on posters, on screens, everywhere. It's not just a slogan, it's the #1 rule in the world of 1984. It's a constant, chilling reminder that you are never, ever alone. The government is always there. Okay, let's dive right in. The story takes place in a cold, gray country called Oceania. Here, a group called the Party has complete control over absolutely everything. And this is the world where we meet our main character, who is just trying to survive. So you might be wondering, how does the Party keep this level of control? Well, first off, there are telescreens in every single room and on every street corner. They can see you and they can hear you. Then there are these giant posters of the leader, Big Brother, just staring at you, always. On top of that, you have the thought police, who can arrest you just for thinking the wrong thing. Yeah, you heard me right. They even teach children to be little spies and report on their own parents. And every day, people are forced into these 2 minutes hate rallies, where they all just scream at pictures of the Party's enemy. So the person who guides us through this nightmare world is a man named Winston Smith. On the outside, he looks like any other loyal worker. He does his job for the Party, but on the inside, he's hiding a huge secret. He hates the Party. He can't stand Big Brother. And in Oceania, that is the most dangerous secret anyone can possibly have. See, the worst crime you can commit here is something called a thought crime. It's exactly what it sounds like, the crime of thinking something the Party doesn't approve of. And the punishment? It's not just death. You get vaporized. That means the Party doesn't just kill you, they erase you. Every photo, every record, every memory that you ever existed is wiped clean. It's like you were never even born. So let's look at how this all works. Winston's job is at a place called the Ministry of Truth. Now that name is a total lie because the real job of this ministry is to constantly change the past. This is how the Party controls what's real. Here's Winston's daily routine. He gets these little slips of paper with orders. For instance, maybe the Party promised more food last month, but now there's less. Winston has to find the old newspaper article with the promise and literally rewrite it to say the opposite. Once he's created the new fake story, he takes the original document, the real truth, and drops it into a tube called a memory hole. It goes straight to a furnace and is burned. And just like that, the past is changed. You know, there's a really great quote in the book that sums this up perfectly. A palimpsest was an old kind of paper that people would scrape clean to write on again. And that's exactly how the Party sees history. It's not real or solid. It's just something you can erase and rewrite whenever you need to. So, how do people just accept this? How can they believe the lies when they remember things were different just yesterday? Well, the book gives us a word for it: doublethink. It's a kind of mental trick. It means knowing that you're telling a lie, but at the same time, actually believing that lie is true. So Winston knows he's changing a news story, but to stay sane and safe, he has to force himself to believe the news story is the only truth that ever existed. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Winston starts to fight back, but he doesn't join some secret army or anything like that. His rebellion starts with something much smaller, much more human. He falls in love. At his job, there's a young woman named Julia, and at first, Winston is terrified of her. She acts like the perfect Party member, always cheering the loudest, always seeming completely loyal. He's sure she's a spy who's been sent to watch him. Then, one day, something totally unexpected happens. She trips and falls right in front of him. As he's helping her up, she secretly shoves a tiny folded note into his hand. Winston is filled with dread. He's sure this is it, a summons from the thought police. But when he finally gets a moment alone to read it, it's just 3 words: I love you. In a world where even your own feelings are supposed to be controlled by the Party, a note like this is an act of rebellion. It's like a bomb going off in Winston's quiet life. So Winston and Julia start this incredibly risky secret affair. They find this little old room above a shop that they can rent. And the most incredible thing about this room is that there's no telescreen. For the very first time, they have a place where they can be alone, where they can be themselves without being watched. It's their own little private world. In their secret room, they start to feel safe. Maybe too safe. One afternoon, Winston says to Julia, "We are the dead. talking about how the party will get them in the end. And then, suddenly, a cold, hard voice from behind a picture on the wall says, "You are the dead." There was a hidden telescreen in the room the entire time. Their private world was nothing but a trap. Winston and Julia are captured immediately. Winston is taken to the most feared place in all of Oceania, the Ministry of Love. And the goal of this place isn't just to punish people, it's to completely break their spirit. He's thrown into this bright white cell with no windows. The lights are always on, so he has no idea if it's day or night. For weeks, maybe even months, he's beaten and questioned. But they're not trying to get information, they're trying to empty his mind of his own thoughts, his own feelings. After all the torture, there's one final step, a place called Room 101. Inside Room 101 is the one thing in the world that you are most terrified of. It's unique to every person, and for Winston, that thing is rats. They strap a cage to his face, a cage full of huge, hungry rats. And faced with his deepest, darkest fear, Winston completely shatters. He screams the one thing that he knows will save him. He betrays Julia. He screams for them to do it to her, to put the rats on her face, not his. And in that moment, the party finally wins. They've broken him. After Room 101, Winston is considered cured. He's released back into the world. And in this final, heartbreaking part of the story, we see what's left of the man who dared to fight back. Winston is a completely broken man. He happens to see Julia again on the street one day. They talk, but their love is totally gone. There's just nothing. They both admit with no real feeling that they betrayed each other in Room 101. The party didn't just separate them, it destroyed the one human thing they had. The story ends with Winston sitting all by himself in a cafe, drinking gin. The telescreen announces a huge military victory for Oceania. And when he hears this news, Winston, the man who once hated the party more than anything, feels a tear of pure joy roll down his cheek. And that brings us to the final, absolutely devastating lines of the book. The party didn't just want to kill Winston, they wanted to convert him. And they succeeded. They completely took over his heart and his mind. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother. So the story leaves us with this huge, chilling question. If an outside force can control everything you remember, everything you believe, and even who you love, what part of you is actually left? What makes you, you?